Hello again. This is a fragment from one of my games that I played this year. I was playing with the white pieces in this position, and the opening was the Spanish opening, and I had a fairly good position here as white. And white has a serious attack on the king side. He managed to advance the pawn all the way to g6, and now there's some threats against f7. And it seems that there are some threats of invading on the h-file, giving checkmate either with a rook or with a queen. They all seem very dangerous. But in the game I didn't have too much time to calculate different possibilities, so I just played the most obvious move. And I'll show you first what happened in the game. So I played rook h1, and after the precise response from my opponent, bishop d8, it turned out that the king just now escapes to e7, and all my pressure against f7 doesn't really amount to much. And I was also running a bit lower in time, so fairly soon I actually had to fight for the survival, as I simplified the position too much. So I try to keep the rooks on, but not really. And a few moves later I realized that because I'm running out of time I have to make a draw, so I try to escape into the position with the opposite color bishops, and this is roughly equal, but because I have less time I have to be really careful. And in this position I realized that if I don't make a fortress, then my opponent is going to torture me in this position for a while. So I sacrificed the pawn just so that I can invade with the queen and force some simplifications. So I lose the a5 pawn, but I'm just on time to make a fortress. And here we agreed to a draw because there's really no way that black can break through even though he's up a pawn. So all this was very unfortunate because I thought that I had a very nice position, and I gave up all of my advantage without really realizing what I should do instead. So going back to the starting position, there's actually a very nice opportunity which I missed, and that's why I'm showing this game now. So it seems that my attack is really coming from the king side. And the thing about that is that the way it happened in the game, I only had two pieces really participating in that attack, the queen and the rook. So a better way to conduct the attack would have been by trying to introduce the minor pieces into the game as well. And it seems that the knight has some nice squares. Either it could go to g4 or it could go to c4, but the bishop doesn't really have much of a future. And it's defending the pawns, but it doesn't really do much more beyond that. So it would be nice to bring the bishop into the game, and it turned out I had a very nice way of doing that. So this is the move that I missed that probably wins the game on the spot. a5. So there are several ideas behind this move, and it really brings the minor pieces into the game very well. So the bishop now is threatening to come through a4, and the knight is threatening to come through c4, and then to b6, and then it turns out that there's really no defense for black. So even though I'm attacking on the king side, this move that switches attention to the queen side is really very important. It's really important to keep in mind both flanks and see the whole board, as they say. So I failed to do this in this game. So here's some possibilities. Say if black takes, then I'm threatening mate. And then if black defends, then the knight comes to c4, and now it's hitting a lot of squares, so the queen has to go back. and I lost the pawn, but I won a couple of tempi for the attack, and so now the bishop comes to a4, and black is pretty much forced to surrender the exchange, and the attack still continues here. There's really nothing black can do against the invasion of the queen to g6, and then the g7 pawn is going to fall. Say the knight goes to g8, queen g6 there, and now I can just take on d6 probably. That's it. The attack is winning. And can black do anything else here besides rook e8? Well, say, sorry, besides king e7, let's say he tries to keep the rook alive. Let's say he goes here. Then I can probably just play rook h8, and then the only move really is knight g8, and now I can just probably play queen h5, and I'm threatening to play queen h7 or rook g8 first, and then queen h7, and there's really no defense. And it's really important that this bishop is taking away all the squares on the diagonal from the black pieces, and this knight is also putting a lot of pressure on the black structure, and also taking away all the good squares from the black queen. So black is basically attacking, so white is basically attacking on both sides of the board, both on the king side and on the queen side. If black does not take the pawn, he can probably defend a bit better. Taking the pawn on a5 just gives me a couple of extra moves, but if he doesn't, if he tries to defend more resiliently, then the bishop still comes to a4, and this is a much better version of what I had in the game, and this is just way better than what I got. And again, white still continues the attack from both flanks. Now white's using the outpost on b6 to win this knight, and of course if black takes on b6, then queen e8 is checkmate. So this was a very nice opportunity for me to play on both flanks of the board, and unfortunately I missed that, but hopefully next time I'll be able to exploit a similar opportunity.